Hey, a big good day from down under. Welcome to my mini teach today. This is a short power pack of truth, a little nugget, if you will, in less than 10 minutes. Let's dive in. What are we looking at today? We are finishing off we've done a few little snippets or little mini teaches in Ecclesiastes, and we're going to look at the words of the wise today, the importance of that. I want to draw out three points for you about wisdom, concluding this wisdom book, the end of the book of Ecclesiastes. So we're reading Ecclesiastes 12, 11 to 14. Follow along with me in the text. And it says, the words of the wise are like goads, and the words of scholars are like well-driven nails given by one shepherd. And further, my son, be admonished by these. Of making many books there is no end, and much study is wearisome to the flesh. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is man's all. For God will bring every work into judgment, including every secret thing, whether good or evil. Now, these are the concluding words of the book of Ecclesiastes. And I've said to you before, remember, this is wisdom literature. The context also is that Solomon is speaking at the end of his life. And even though he was the most wise man on earth, barring Jesus Christ, he fell into idolatry and was quite cynical by the end of his life. So we need to obviously read Ecclesiastes through the lens of that context. But I really do think the clincher is here in how he has closed out the book of Ecclesiastes. There's a lot of wisdom here. Let's dive into it. I want to highlight three things from the text. And the first is that it's really important for us to listen to the shepherds that God has placed in our lives, those, pastors, our spiritual leaders that he's placed in our lives, those who are actually aligned to the good shepherd. If you look in the text, I don't know about what your translation says, but if you look in this translation, you'll notice that shepherd has been capitalized. And it means that we need to adhere to the words of the wise, the people that God has placed in spiritual authority over us, who have been given by one shepherd, as in the good shepherd, Jesus Christ. We do not want to be submitting to ungodly authority or shepherds who are not tending to or looking after their flock and not actually meeting the mandate that God has actually given them, and Jesus has actually given them here in the earth. So it's important for us when we want to listen to our shepherds, there needs to be the God-ordained spiritual authority in our life. That's the first thing, all right? Wisdom, they are the words of the wise to us in our lifetime. The second thing is that wisdom trumps knowledge. It talks in this text also about, much study, many books are wearisome to the flesh. They are, because you can have a deep understanding and a knowledge of something, but without wisdom, it's actually fruitless to you. And we've talked before, wisdom is life. Wisdom will prolong your life. Wisdom will set you on the path. So it's not to downplay knowledge. I'm a teacher. I love knowledge. I love understanding. I think it is important. The book of Proverbs also tells us to get knowledge and understanding, but wisdom has got to trump all of it. Wisdom has got to be the first thing that we actually seek after. And of course, we know from James' epistle that God gives wisdom freely to whoever asks for it. Amen. All right. And then finally, it sums it all up by saying, look, if you want to figure out how to do life in a nutshell, here's life in a nutshell, fear God and keep his commandments. Now, since Jesus came and the commandment that he is the fulfillment of the law and the prophets, he gave us a new commandment to live by. And it was linked to the Shema, the old, I don't want to call it old, but the Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and mind and your soul. And loving your neighbor as yourself was also in the law and the prophets. It's just that Jesus clearly articulated and said that the only commandments we are bound to now is to love the Lord our God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love our neighbor as ourselves. And when we do this, we fulfill all the law of the prophets, all the law and the prophets, rather. So how do we fear God and keep his commandments? We love him passionately. We are in reverent fear and awe of him and who he is. And we keep his commandments by loving ourselves and loving our neighbor. Pretty simple, huh? And if we do that, if we do that, wisdom will keep us from falling into the pit. So the words of the wise to us, number one, they come through the God ordained leadership in our life. Number two, remember, wisdom trumps knowledge. And number three, everything we do, if we want life boiled down in a nutshell, the law of love. Love God, love people, love yourself. Amen. If this has blessed you, let me know in the comments and please share. I'll see you in my next mini teach. Toodaloo.